Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday night. It's been a little while, but the Arsenal Social Extra is back with myself and my good friend Steve right after this.
To Martinelli, he's in the box, Gabriel Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seals it.
Good evening, my friend. It's so good to be back. How are we doing?
Oh, mate, come on. It's the Extra show. Talking a little bit today. I can't wait, mate. It feels like a lifetime between you and I last having our little chat.
It's been too long. Too long.
But you can't keep a good person down, mate, Adam. You know you can't. You can't. So listen, mate, tell me what we got today. Man down. I'm feeling like, so apologies for last night, everybody. I do find a bottle of white wine and cough medicine is not necessarily a good combination when you're on a live podcast. So, mate, I'm a passenger today. Kind of got some stats, but what are we doing? Adam? Talk to me.
What are we doing? Well, first of all, I just want to point out that I'm going to carry the team with the wine tonight. You have the is that inches, by the way?
yes, mate.
I quite like that.
Quite
nice that. Yeah, he's got you 5 a day. Well, cheers anyway. Good to see you again. As I said before, before we come on, it's been a couple of weeks since we last done the show, mainly due to us having commitments and Europa League and trying to fit in with the busy over and over again schedule. So I feel like we've got a lot to catch up on, but I also feel like a lot's already happened that we don't really need to cover again. So I thought, it'd be nice to kind of cover a bit about the Leeds game at the weekend. I know that it went into a lot of details last night on the show. I've got a few interesting, funny bits to talk about as usual. That's cropped up. I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't expect nothing else, but I thought generally we'll just wing it like we always do. Really,
just look like professionals, like the professionals that we are. That we are. I'm loving it. So really good. So I think yes, there was, and for those who didn't catch the show last night, I got very animated as always. That's what a bottle of wine will do to you. But also, there were some interesting bits that I don't think we got to explore particularly well or go into any real detail around that I thought I'd like to really pick up today. Twitterati, as always, the Arsenal Twitterati are going just a little bit mental at the moment, as apparently Armageddon's come in because we've had one bad game.
That we still won.
Well, yeah, that I did say that to Rich in 100 years' time. Who really cares? It's like 3 points on there. But no, apparently it's a complete meltdown. Arsenal are failing. We've gone all Spursy. I think after the World Cup, I'm seeing when the World Cup's over and done with, that's it. We're a busted flush. And everything that goes with it. So I thought, why don't we have a little chat about that as well?
Let's have a little chat about that. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? So, I mean, I'll give my 2 pence on the Leeds situation. I was really happy. I think if you can win ugly, that's a good sign. You can't be, you can't run away with games every single week. We had a hell of a long journey to the out six circle in the week. The team wasn't hugely changed from that. It was a difficult away game to go to. I thought the first half we played pretty well. Second half, Leeds come at us, and I thought Leeds played pretty well. And there was a few decisions in there, but we grounded out a win. We got 3 points in a difficult place on the road, and those kind of wins give me a lot of satisfaction. To be quite honest with you, I didn't go away thinking, "God, that was brilliant," but I went away thinking, "Whoa, that's 3 points." And then after an hour or so after the game, I thought, actually, I'm bloody happy with that because we could have quite easily have lost that. And there was, Leeds missed some chances. Obviously, the penalty they missed. There was a lot of things that didn't go their way, but sometimes you need that bit of fortune. I was chatting to, remember Chris, who we had on the show, the Everton fan, and he said to me, you were very fortunate today. And I was like, yeah, but you need a bit of fortune sometimes. And again, being a football lover, he completely get that. And it's just that Everton are not getting it at the moment. So for me, I was quite happy.
Well, look, I don't think that, I don't think we did anything, overly exciting or dramatic. But statistically, let me have just, I like my stats. When we actually start to look at it, So we look at the likes of Leeds, for instance. So they had 16 shots on goal. Yeah, 16 shots on goal. We had 9. Most of their shots on goal, which is interesting, actually, came in the second half, as you saw the possession. From the possession stats. But when we look at the possession, actually, it was actually quite an even game. It was 47% possession to Leeds, 53% possession to us. But here's the telltale. The telltale. I forgot to say. Here's the facts that actually struck me was our success. So from past success percentage, we're at 83%, and Leeds are at 78%. So that sounds very, very close, but actually, there's a dramatic increase from an Arsenal perspective of actually the quality of the passing that's actually going on. Shots on goal, although it's less, they're actually more on target. But things like aerial battles, tackles won, corners, that type of stuff. Leeds are on top of us. Leeds are absolutely on top of us all the way through. And if you look at the wider statistics of the two teams, you can see that the engine within Leeds is something that a lot of people really don't pay any attention to, but actually they're at a level that is almost above the likes of Man City.
They're a very young team as well, Leeds. Like, obviously, we're a young team as well, but that's one of the things I've noticed that this Jesse Masters brought in. A lot of youngsters, put in a lot of faith in that youngster. And they've got a couple of real good midfielders in there who just run and run and run. Is it Aronson? Is he the American lad? Quite impressed with him. He just doesn't stop. And I think that they're going to cause a lot of teams problems. They are. I mean, I think that they're one of these teams that maybe when they go a couple of goals down, their heads might drop, but that's probably young and inexperienced. But especially at their place, they're going to give a lot of teams a tough game. And again, winning away to Leeds is something to be, happy about for me.
Yeah, and again, I'm looking across our back four. So Tommy Asher on the left, Ben White, Tierney, these types of things. I'm sitting there thinking, like, again, and I said it last night, Tommy Asher should definitely be playing on the right. That's his place. That's where he does well, and Tierney should be on the left. Like, and I'm sorry, Ben, love you to bits, but he was found wanting by Sinestra on a number of occasions. Yeah. And I've been saying this over and over and over again. Just looking at the past success ratios, when we look across the whole of the team, it's awesome to see. So Xtra and Partey are 87 and 90% of their passes were successful. White 79%, Saliba 92%, Mangales 90%, Tommy Ashu 86%. Right, that's really, really accurate passing from the back. Yeah. Rob Holding 100%, believe it or not. So when you've got that level of performance that's coming from the back, funny enough, his Ramsdale was probably one of the worst at 64. I know we're going to have a little chat about him, but when you look at that level of passing capabilities and you look at that as the statistics actually show, believe it or not, we were one of the stronger teams there. All the aerial battles that sort of went in, through the game. Saliba had 4 and 1 for, Mangales 2 again. What's your view on the penalty against Gabriel?
The last one, and it wasn't a penalty. I mean, it's an interesting. I was chatting to my dad about this tonight, actually. Like, Gabriel obviously did lash out. I don't think he touched Bamford much. But obviously, if you're an attacker and you feel anything, you're going to go down. But Bamford did push him first. And I think it was the right decision. And I don't think anyone has really disagreed that was, not that I've seen, like, the so-called experts and even most of the press have said it wasn't a penalty, but we maybe rode our luck a little bit, which I'll go along with. Obviously, the first one was a penalty. You can't argue with that. He missed it, he rolled it wide. But the second one for me wasn't a penalty. It was just a complete mix-up. I mean, the ref and the officials had a shocking game anyway, but he didn't deal with it very, very well. But the only thing I don't really understand is he didn't give the penalty, but he gave the yellow card in the end. So come on, what's going on? That's the bit I was thinking. Is it because of violent conduct? Well, Bamford did push him first, so why didn't he get a yellow? It just didn't add up. No. It was all a bit disjointed for me. That was the only really confusing thing for me. But no, I don't think it was a penalty. Like, it was a push from Bamford on Gabriel. Gabriel lashed out. Probably shouldn't have, but it's a heated atmosphere. Last minute of the game that we're clinging on to. Passions are there. He kicked out, but did he really kick out with that much force? No. Did he catch Bamford? Probably a little bit. But, not to the point where Bamford got sniped and fell to the ground.
No.
So, no. I mean, I'm assuming you agree that it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah. I don't think it was a penalty because you got to go on the foul at the beginning. And you're absolutely right. If you're going to give Gabriel a yellow card, and evening, Sean, by the way, if you're going to give Gabriel a yellow card for that, Bamford should have got one as well.
I agree.
There was
interesting point by Sean here, by the way.
Yeah.
Evening, Sean. Nice to see your name again. Been a while, mate. Only argument about white passing stats. It'd be interested to know how many foul passes come from Ramsdale. That's actually not a bad point because sometimes most of those passes will be because he's under pressure. And likewise, probably Ramsdale's passing stats are not high because he's more under pressure. What do you think about that?
Actually, just checking that. It didn't really show. I can't really check tackles, pass success, 64%. Possession. Don't know, mate. Sorry, is the answer to that. Oh, sorry, no. No. Accurate passes. Here we go. So total passes by Ramsdale was 39. 25 of those were actually accurate. So his success ratio is 64. And if you look at, is it Meslier? Meslier, is it their goalie?
Meslier.
Sorry, Meslier. My apologies, Mr. Meslier. He got 21 passes, of which only 13 were accurate. So I'm not sure how many went to white, to be honest with you there. But it's an interesting one. So and it's one I know it's one a point that Sean's brought up quite a few times, being that Ramsdale's very right-footed. And while we're on the subject of Ramsdale, how would you like a football in the man apples, mate? How would you take that?
I would probably take it a lot worse than he did, to be quite honest with you. I thought he done pretty well out of that. I mean, that was flush. That was flush right in the middle. Like, he couldn't have caught them any better if he tried.
No.
You know what I mean? It was a wince moment, wasn't it? It was like, especially on the repeat.
Crying for me mummy. I'd have been crying for me mummy at that moment if I'd have been hit with the force that he was hit on that.
And I felt to be fair, he dealt with it all right. He dealt with it better than most men would.
He's a real man. And the abuse, you see the abuse. There was a video of the abuse that he got. And he just seemed to absolutely love it. So, and I've been hearing, Adam, I've been hearing a lot of negativity, and I've been seeing so much negativity. All right, Sean. So much negativity around Gabriel. So much negativity around him as a defender. Even Rich is on his case. Probably not as much as he is on Holding, but Rich is on his case. What do you reckon, mate? What how do you feel about that?
What about specifically? You're asking me now about Gabriel?
About Gabriel. Like, in defence. So the negativity we're seeing.
I still think that yes, he's becoming high profile because of certain things, but that doesn't, for me, take away the fact that he's still performing very, very well. I still think that his positioning is great, and it's getting better game by game. I think that him and Saliba are still putting this partnership together. It's still quite early days, but they're getting more comfortable with each other. He's fast, he's strong, and what I like about him is he's not scared. And I think the biggest thing for me, what I like, is that he's not backing down from these things. You don't want a defender who's going to shy away from these kind of controversies. If he's not happy with something, he'll make them know. And I'd much rather have that kind of defender in my team than a shrinking violet. I'd much rather have a Tony Adams, in my team than I don't know, Skilacci, let's say, who I'm kind of thinking of one of our bad defenders down. You know what I mean? I'd much rather someone with a bit of balls about him. I like that, but I just hope that he doesn't now get recognised as this kind of player that then refs become, mindful of him and are looking. But I don't want people to look for him. Like, for instance, when players used to target Xhaka because they knew he had a bit of a loose cannon. I don't want people to now think he's got that to try and target him. So I think that on certain occasions he needs to calm it down. But that's going to come with experience. And that will come with, and he's still young. He's still early 20s, 23, 24, which is still young for a footballer, and he's still finding his feet. But no, I still rate him very highly, and I don't think it's cause for him to come out of the team at all.
No, for sure. So statistically shown, he's one of the best performing defenders in the league right now. He's one of the best performing defenders last season, highest scoring defender last season. I know Rich said last night he don't want him scoring goals. Well, actually, I do want him scoring goals.
I wouldn't mind both, because he can stop goals at one end and get a couple at the other end.
Absolutely, and that's something that's Koscielny was brilliant at. So Laurent Koscielny did that time and time and time again. I remember the Burnley goal. We were talking about that last night. That Burnley goal that he managed to fight him with his hands and chest and head and everything else. So statistically, his improvement this year, just in the first quarter of this season, he's like, just from his accuracy perspective, he's 10% up on last season. He's one of the highest. He's got more assists. He's got one of the highest assist rates of any central defender in the whole of the league.
Is that right? This season? Is that right?
Yeah, already. Wow. Yeah. So assist-wise, so tackling, dribbling, the whole piece. He's actually one of the best defenders in the league. So back off. So those on Twitter that go on and on and on about him, you better just go and check your stats first. Understand emotions run high all the time. And I'm a great one to speak, but just back off, because you need to check the stats. This guy is world class, right? We had that conversation a few weeks ago about he could walk into the Tottenham team. Well, I looked at the stats actually. He could easily walk into the Tottenham team. Well, and quite a few others. I know Sean gets upset when I talk about Tottenham, but just that reference. Do we have a world class player there? Absolutely. Is he young? Yeah. Is he going to make mistakes? Absolutely. And one of the things that Sean always says when he talks about Ramsdale, Ramsdale will make mistakes because he can't kick. He's single dimensional with his kicking, but he will save you more points than he will lose you. And Gabriel is exactly that in that position. And so, as a fan base, we need to get off his back. Yes, he's got some nerve issues. He does you can see the nerves in him, but once he calms down, what's worrying me at the moment though is that both Saliba and Gabriel there are one card away from a suspension.
Yeah. So, I saw that too. When does that now wipe? Because it wipes halfway through the season, isn't it? So is it after a number of games?
Yeah.
So there's still quite a bit to go.
Yeah, maybe someone can have a way to go. Yeah, maybe someone can have a little search and see. But I think we've got quite a ways to go, and the same with Jesus as well. Because that kind of brings me on to a stat. Who would you say? You watch the game, Adam, mate, and I trust your opinion. You and I trust your opinion. Who would you say was from a performance perspective our man of the match? Not favour wise and all that. Who would you say
on Sunday? Yeah.
Sunday, yeah.
I mean, the obvious choice is saying someone like Saka. He got the goal, and he did put the effort in the first half. I didn't think that Xhaka had a bad game either. I thought he'd done the job in the middle, got stuck in, kept his head. I'd say one of those two for me, I'd say. But you're going to tell me statistically I'm wrong, aren't you?
Yeah, mate. So statistics actually show that Gabriel Magalhaes was actually the best player. So for all of the vitriol that's come out for him, he was statistically, man for man, pass for pass.
I can see that though, because like I said, like up until that moment at the end, I thought he was pretty solid, and not much was really getting from him. Leeds obviously come at us in the second half, but they had a couple of clear-cut chances, but were any of them really down to him? No, probably not. No, you're right. I mean, they cut us open on that right-hand side a couple of times. I can't remember the young guy's name, but he was very, very good down the right. I think it's what you said, Xtra. Very good player.
Really impressive.
But I can't really remember him putting too much wrong other than at the end. Which even then, did he really do too much wrong? Who knows? But interesting. And the stats are based on what?
On passing, on. Let's have a quick look here. Sorry. So ratings. It's based on the usual. Just on the usual ratings for the team. So Gabriel out of everybody. So believe it or not, it's Gabriel, Ramsdale, Odegaard.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about Ramsdale. Ramsdale had a great game. It's one of his best games for a while.
Yeah. So rating. So the actual rating, player ratings. in there. So it was Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, and then Xtra. And I thought Xtra actually, I would have put him a lot higher, but he's a 7.3, and Gabriel is 8 on there. So it's very close between them. And I'm going to do this now, and I've got to apologise a little bit for what I've been saying. What I've been saying about Saka. I think he has now clicked. I think something's happened.
He's turned the corner, hasn't he? He's turned the corner.
Mate, he has gone up to another level. And I think looking at the, and I don't know if you could touch on it or not, but it looks to me the statistics, something I saw today floating around is apparently his new deal's close to being signed.
Right. So he's not got anything to worry about now then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, it's like he was worried about it anyway. I mean, he knew he was going to get offered something. So it's catch up with stuff in the chat. I mean, for me, the Spurs game was where it clicked a little bit for Saka. And part of me is thinking that we were starting to go towards his side more. Spurs, Liverpool, back like last season, we kept saying that Odegaard and Saka were the two main link men.
Yeah.
And then this season it had maybe gone down the left with Martinelli, etc. But I think now we've started to get Saka much more involved in the game, and he's asking to be more involved in the game. You can clearly see he's making those runs more. But something's definitely clicked, and it's great to see. And to be fair, what a time to do it. And we had that kind of run of games like Spurs, Liverpool, even Leeds away. Yeah, what a time to sort of get that back. I mean, I don't think he's been playing terribly. I just don't think he's really been, putting himself in the game as much as he had been. So it's great to see. It really is.
At the races, I thought he was absolutely. That goal was just class. It was world-class goal. I love that goal. It was a beautiful goal.
What a time for him as well, coming into the World Cup as well. For him, getting into this kind of form just for the World Cup. I mean, let's just hope he continues that, definitely. Yeah, I think, he's been a massive plus point, hasn't he?
And what was interesting, again, as I mentioned yesterday, I just want to touch on the difference between Liverpool and Man City, the Liverpool-Man City game to Liverpool-Arsenal. My Lord, once Tommy Asu let Salah out of his pocket, really got at it, didn't he? That was an amazing game to watch, and it was interesting to see the way they played against Man City. Because again, looking at our statistics, again, the hotspots is that where we're winning at this moment in time is down the wings, and it was interesting watching the Leeds manager put we're putting 2 players on Martinelli and 2 players on Saka, and it left bucket loads of space in the midfield, which is why I think Thomas Partey played well, although it was quite a battle. They had an extra man in midfield, I noticed, but Pep did the same to Liverpool, and it just went to show, when you've got to turn a pace, that actually trying to smother those wings, you only that long ball, and Salah like oh my god, he turned as I say,
the middle as well, wasn't it? Straight through the middle.
Straight through the middle. Bumps it in.
Out of interest in that game, what did you make of City's disallowed goal? I thought it was a bit harsh. Like they're saying it would have been for both offences. I can see why they gave it, but I think we've seen a lot worse this season. Was that an Anfield thing?
No, not at all.
You think that was the right decision?
Mate, it was Tierney was doing the VAR for us. So no, mate, I'm not having it. I don't care. Actually, I'm quite happy. They did us a favour. Who cares?
I was fine with it. I mean, I'm fine with 4 points there now.
Was it? Yeah, was it? No, it's a bit harsh. I think it was a bit harsh, but ultimately, in that cauldron and in that space and in that place, I've got to take my hat off to Liverpool fans because they were absolutely.
Well, they needed to win that after losing to us the week before. They couldn't afford to lose that game. But the fans made them know that.
What was amazing, the Arsenal fans at Leeds. All I could hear was I could just hear the Saliba song going on as I was listening. To it. I could hear the Saliba song. I could hear our fans in full voice. But it's an amazing time. It's an amazing time for our team. I think we're tired. I generally think we're tired right now, Adam. I'm looking at that team. But, our hot spots are definitely on the wings and right narrow down the middle where Odegaard plays with Partey down there. There's where the
You're saying about time. I thought it was interesting that you guys touched on the show last night about the we are getting close to the break now. We've got a lot of games to go to the World Cup, but then we have got to break them for quite a few of our squad, which actually could now work in our favour. Because at first I was worried about momentum, losing the momentum, but now I'm thinking actually, if we can get to the break relatively unscathed, both in results wise and both in fitness wise and injury wise, we can go into the World Cup. That we're going to have quite a few players at the World Cup, of course, but we've also got quite a few players who are not going to be at the World Cup. And if we can then come out of that World Cup and strengthen, like you guys suggested, which I think we will do, it could be a blessing in disguise.
I think
because again, it's not only us who are going to go with the World Cup; it's going to affect everyone. And I think that now it's a case of right. Let's look ahead to the next month, get us through to this World Cup, and then see where we're at.
I was just a quick one from Sean. Actually, he did pull the shirt. Good point. I forgot that.
True, yeah.
And you're absolutely right. You can't get away with that. I just think that's going to play a big part. Right, it's going to play a big part. I think we need. And I said last night, we need a big striker. We absolutely need a big striker in there.
Yeah.
We need a unit that we can kick the ball at, and
I think Chris Wood might be available from Newcastle.
Yeah, we could do with that. I need someone to carry the shoes and bags and everything else. I think as I said, we need a unit. I think we need another backup for Partey.
We need an alternative. We do need an alternative type of striker. I like Eddie. I think he does a good job, but we need an alternative type, like a hold-up player, target man. 100%.
Jesus, again, like amazing, running around, but was very quiet in that game.
Yeah, I think that he might need. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie did come in against Southampton at the weekend.
I think so.
It wouldn't surprise me. Do I think it will happen? No, I don't think it will happen, but it wouldn't surprise me. I think Jesus does need maybe a break. Maybe that break will be against PSV. Maybe that'll be the break he needs just to recuperate and get down to it. But I wouldn't surprise me at all. I see we've got a little chat. What's the crack, Stephen? How you doing, Del Boy? Good to see you in the chat this evening. Welcome aboard. And Steve has got a cold and he's drinking lots of cider. Indeed. So he's looking for the commiseration tonight.
I'm just being brutal with me. Don't mess about. Don't hold back. Be brutal. Just get in there.
Just one thing. Like, did you see today? Just very, very quickly about something completely different before I forget. And I don't know if anyone in the chat has seen this. I've seen rumours on Twitter this afternoon about a Arsenal All or Nothing season 2 that's actually being filmed. I've not seen any. You seen this?
No, I saw people talking about it. I think it's utter BS.
It's got to be, surely. Otherwise, we would have heard about this by now.
I do wish that we'd have done All or Nothing this season. If I'm honest with you, I think
it's like some people on Twitter just think it's a cinematic thing that they're just going to make, right? Not that it's actual like a documentary series that gets filmed out of all season, but like people bringing out release dates and stuff. I'm thinking, is there something in this?
Well, one I saw last night it seems to be picking up momentum again, is that Steven Gerrard's been sacked.
Oh yeah, I see that this morning as well, but there's been nothing official. I wouldn't be surprised. He's doing an awful job there, to be fair. Like given the people he's signed as well and the players he's got at his disposal. But I think that's again doing the rounds. But until you see it finalised. Twitter nonsense. So I think we've covered the Leeds game. We're happy with that. We're moving on. We've got, I think the PSV game could be important. I think if we get 3 points against PSV, that should see us through in that group. Obviously, PSV away is going to be tough, but then Zurich at home, you would think that we would be fairly comfortable. And then we can probably hopefully concentrate on the Premier League before the World Cup breaks. So that's the dream now. I reckon we can get that way.
I just sort of think, and I'm praying that we're going to have good turnout. I'm praying that all the boys are going to be out there, and I'm praying that we will give Ruud van Nistelrooy the welcome to the Emirates that he deserves. And we'll show him a little bit of the love that he's shown the Arsenal through the years.
Yes, I'm sure we will. James is in the chat, by the way. Evening, James. Good to see you, mate. He's come up with the answer about the Amazon. It's fake. Yeah, I thought it was. They want to do one on Newcastle or Chelsea over. They've agreed to do a deal. German national. That could be interesting during the World Cup. That would be quite an interesting watch, actually. I've got to look forward to watching that. Yeah, I thought it could be fake, as in there's nothing official from the club or from Amazon. So, yeah, just it's weird how these rumours come about, though, isn't it? Like, who starts these? Who would know anything about starting rumours? Honestly, I mean, come on.
Hey, who would do that? Who would do that? So we're wrapping it up. It's the end of it. We won 1-0. End of story. Got 3 points. We're top of the league. We're coming into Southampton, mate. You know, that's it. I think everybody back off, calm the hysteria down. Yes, we're a bit tired. Time to rotate the team. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I agree. I do think we do need to get some rotation in. Not heavily, 2 or 3 players maybe. You know, we don't want to upset the equilibrium, so to speak. That was a very long word for me to say. But I do think we do need to see, we've got a squad, let's use it. I think that was one of the biggest criticisms I had last year towards the end, is we had that squad, didn't use it, players were getting burnt out, which is why we had a poor run of form towards the end of the year. So let's not do that again. Get through to January, hopefully take that seriously, get a couple of new people through the door, get Smith Rowe back, get the players who are kind of coming back on there as well. And then come second half of the season, we can crack at it again. So, yeah, 100%. 100%.
We absolutely need Smith Rowe.
So I've got a couple of things I want to share with you. On the more lighter side, as you know, we talked a bit serious tonight, so let's have a bit more of a laugh now.
What could that be?
First of all, this was something we were chatting about on our message. So an ex-player of ours, did you see come out in the week? Now, this might be quite big for the screen, but I'm going to put it up anyway. There we go. And so this is our ex number 9, who's Lacquer, and his new manager, I think he's called Peter Bosz, maybe.
Okay.
So Steve, what happened between these two this week? Or does anyone else in the chat know about this?
Didn't they ever? Am I right in thinking that a little bit of a? Does he? One thing. Who's? Did they not have a little bit of a fallout this week?
A little bit of a fallout. Now, bearing in mind that he's the new manager and Lacazette's the actual captain of the club. Not just he's the club captain. He's gone back. Leon, legend from the past, come back.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Lacazette actively criticised the manager in the press conference after the game to the French public, which was along the lines of, do you trust the manager? Do you think the manager can do well? I just want to win games. I find it hard when we're losing a game that he doesn't put on a striker. This was all translated from French. He basically slagged down his tactics, his substitutions, and questioned his ability to win games for Lyon. That was it.
Wow.
I don't think, I don't think the manager actually, took to it quite nicely. But at the same time, the French media, I had a look into it, are actually pretty much saying Lacazette has more power at Lyon than this guy does. So I think he's kind of back down as well. We'll
I have to say, can you bring that picture up a sec?
Yeah, of course I can. Here we go.
That's the guy out of Breaking Bad, isn't it?
He does look a bit like that, or a bit like it could be one of many people. Eric Ten Hag, Moby, Michael Stipe. It could be one of a few people there, to be honest with you. James just says equal of a very good film, yeah. And also, you made me say that word twice now, so please not a third time. But that's not the only spot of bother that Lacazzette's had since he's been at Lyon.
No way.
Which I know you're aware of. So, again, this happened to him pre-season, but, it kept him out of play for a while. Lacazette versus the Wasps. So, I know you know the story here, so I'll let you tell us about this story. What happened with Wasps and Lacazette?
Apparently, it wasn't just Lacazette. Apparently, he got attacked by pre-season. He got attacked by a nest of hornets. They're actually not wasps; it's hornets. He got attacked and got stung so badly he couldn't actually make his debut for Lyon. I thought it was quite funny.
I mean, that's the first I'd heard of it until you look into it. But it's quite widely reported at the time. I don't think I'd cared about him much since. So he's not had the best of times since he's gone back there, by all accounts.
Yeah, upsetting the guy for Breaking Bad and being attacked by a load of wasps.
If you believe in science, you should probably get a move on right now or just retire. It's not going to get any better. It's really not. So there's something else. This happened a couple of weeks ago, actually, but I've obviously not been on the show. But this is me. Evidently, one of my tweets won Twitter for a day. Don't know if you saw this one. No, again, It was a Spurs fan that told me this. So this was something that Match of the Day put out. Son and Kane name a more iconic duo. This was after the Brighton game, right? This is a more iconic duo. So the reply I got to one of my tweets was from this Spurs guy who said, replying to me, dreading the replies to this as a Spurs, and then saw your name and feared the worst. But this has won Twitter today. But this was my reply, quite innocently. So the tweet was obviously name a more iconic duo, to which my reply was, and please tell me you know who these are. You must know these people.
Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli, of course. You know, I think they could do a job up front, you know, double pairing. But yeah, I was quite happy with that reply from that Spurs fan. So, you know, not often I pay attention to that, but he did make me laugh. But yeah. But there was also some real corkers on that thread. If you ever get a chance to look back on the Match of the Day thread, I don't think that that Kane and Son were necessarily the most popular choice on that. So I was quite happy with that one. We've just got a couple of things about Laka. Laka upsetting Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Hornets. What a knob. It's true. And James up there, one of the weirdest football injuries, like Cannizzaro's missing the World Cup for Spain. That's right. I remember that one. He dropped a deodorant bottle on his foot. That's
How big was the deodorant bottle? How big was it? Like, you know.
I think like we could do something here, weird injuries. So that's something we could actually work on. So again, I've been trawling through the socials, as you know, I do from time to time. Eric Ten Hag's been at it this week. You know, I remember going back a few weeks ago after round, and I started following on Facebook. So interesting one this week that, you know, for obvious reasons, going to get people excited. So this happened last week. Yesterday, Rio landed in Paris for talks with Kylian Mbappe. #Agent Ferdy.
Yes.
Just to set the scene for anyone who doesn't aware, this is Eric Ten Hag, Manchester United, biggest club in the world, manager. Facebook posting about Rio Ferdinand looking like he's in a car park in South London. To be fair, I'm sure that's a skip in the background. But evidently, when he heard Kylian Mbappe didn't want to sign a new contract and he wanted out, he hot-footed it over at Paris. Agent Ferdy, you know. And you can imagine the replies that you can imagine the United fans getting well excited about this. Wonderful news. I like the second one. United should qualify for the Champions League. That's all they're from. That's great news. What? Good. I mean, like I like the one down the bottom by King Presto. Just good. He's fine with that. Good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, good. Or good that Rio's out of the country, or good that they're going from him. But what's good?
Either way, there's lots of good wishes. Good luck. Great news. Great news. Wonderful news. That's great news. All the best, Ferdy. No one's batting an eyelid. Yeah, good news. Great stuff. Great stuff. Then people start to get either a little bit crazy or a little bit suspicious. Fantastic news. Good luck. Third one. Why do you loan Eric Bailly? You know, says Breezy Jeremy. And then the bottom one's got a really bit confused. Kylian Mbappe will return to Manchester. No, return. I don't think he ever started there, but you know, I like the fact where he's going. But this rumours, is it real? What do you think, Eddie? What do you think? And then it goes on a little bit further. Wish you the best of luck. Is he his agent? No, it's clearly not.
Prince,
the president. I like this one though from Tanny One. The President P has a bad attitude. I really hacked him. He hacks him. You know, that's serious. Says Osman down below. Serious? Thankfully, Navi comes with fake news. Seriously? No, he just told you. Fake news. Fake news. And then obviously it goes down a little bit more. Good one. We don't need him, says Augustine. We don't need his man.
Augustine, I think you do. I think you do need him, Augustine. I think there couldn't be a better place for someone like Kylian Mbappe to end up. To make it even worse.
Can you imagine? I mean, I don't know how the Glazers felt about that. I don't know how Rio Ferdinand felt about this. I didn't see a comment from him or anything. So I can't deny or, you know, confirm that this actually happened. So it might have, for all we know. And Eric Ten Hag's telling us, so it obviously happened.
It's got to be true. Got to be true.
Yeah. James just said that is a home bargains lorry in the back, isn't it? They have them in Paris. La Maison Bargains. If they don't, James, I think you're onto something there. I think you know you might be able to get that franchise, and if you can, I might join you in Paris, and we'll get that done. All right.
It's the Euro store, isn't it? €1 store.
But there's also something else that this is a quite a lengthy one, but bear with me, it's quite
Always,
good. So,
always, mate.
you know, it's not something I've probably ever commented on in the pod before, but I've got a tweet to show you from Greg's, our favourite pastry / bakery, and they clearly put this out a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, back in the end of September, because it's been a couple of weeks since it's been a show. Greg's menu was Premier League footballers, Fred. So I thought, I was on the train, I think I was heading up north somewhere, and I thought, this could be fun. And it was fun. So this is Greg's, who started off by putting their menu were Premier League footballers, and they explain it. You'll get as I go along. So the first one's quite easy. Sausage roll, Erling Haaland, inevitable, unsurpassed, makes you feel bad for the rest, never misses. You get the impression. So it goes on a few little things. So we got spicy barbecue bites, as Sandra Martin says, bite size, recent favourite with a tasty kick to it. Fair enough. Sausage, bean and cheese melt, Bukayo Saka, a bit of everything in one perfect package, loved by everyone. Not everyone, as we know that our friend King Solly really isn't a fan, but I thought that was quite nice of Greg. They're keeping it nice, they're keeping it very, very, amenable at the moment. Pretty good. Cajun chicken and rice salad, Jude Bellingham, the next big thing, has all the ingredients to live up to the hype. Very, very nice, Greg's. I like the fact that Greg's know they're footballers, obviously. How they're not more involved in the game, I don't know. Cheese and onion bake, Ben Davis. It's just getting a bit weird. It might not be the sexiest thing on the menu, but it's dependable and always does a job. An underrated king. I'm sure they could have actually mentioned a few different players without getting Spurs involved, but we'll let them off. Festive bake, this one kind of made me laugh. Bruno Fernandes, sensational for a few weeks, but then disappears. And this is from Greg. They're getting there now. You can tell they're warming up.
Yeah,
they're getting there.
We can see that.
Yum yum. Bruno Guimaraes, so irresistible. As soon as you've got one, everyone wants a piece. Obviously being the link to.
I do like a yum yum though. There's something about yum yum. Oh my god, a big big mug of coffee, and about 19 yum yums. They kind of sets us right for the day.
All I'm going to say is this is not the first time you'll see yum yums in the next 2 minutes. All right.
Okay.
Bear with me. Sausage breakfast roll, Alison Becker. The first name on the team sheet starts everything off absolutely lost without it. Could have been a few keepers, but I get the association with a sausage sandwich. Absolutely love it. And then the last one I've got from Greg, so they had a few, was this one. Pink jammy donut, Jack Grealish. Splashy and a bit indulgent for some, but hard to resist and always popular at parties. So Greg's went on and done a few more, but there's about 5 or 6 that I picked out that people joined the thread and put their own suggestions in. And this is where it really got very, very good. And seriously, I could have done 2-hour show just with a Greg's thread, but I had to narrow it down to about 15 or 16. Otherwise, it just would have got too crazy. But these are my favorite. These are my favorite ones.
Well done on the social marketing.
Vegan steak bake, Will Grigg, initially very popular, but today tries to emulate the more recognizable versions, but is not made of the same stuff. So even then, fairly warming up. Small still water, Harry Kane. Unlike our other drinks, it comes without any cups. Which I quite like. That's pretty good. By David Moisio, so obviously I don't think that's real David Moyes, but I quite like that one.
Well, I like that one.
Paul Pogba, vegan sausage roll. Looks good on the outside, but shite in the middle. So I quite like that one. I don't know if Paul Pogba is vegan or not, but you get the idea. We move on. This is the first of 2 mentions for a certain defender. 3 cheese pizza, Maguire, because they are both awful and way too expensive. So this is first Maguire one. He was by far and away the most mentioned player in this thread, by the way. But I picked out 2 that were either family friendly or above board. There was a few there that I'm surprised Greg's allowed on there. And then we've also got self-explanatory. Which I found quite light. And then I've got 2 more to show you from the Gregs before we move on. One is this one. Mexican oval bite and Coutinho was once great, both a shadow of what they used to be. Fair enough.
Wow.
And the last one I'll leave you with Greg tonight is a return of the yum yum. And this one I think is also self-explanatory. Alicia Yeaman, yum yums.
Oh yes.
Yes, I don't think there needs to be any other excellent explanation on that one.
30, maybe 40 years younger.
or just be Douglas Luiz. It could just be that. So that one maybe
who has signed a new contract as well for Villa.
Strangely enough, strangely enough. So that was our little Greg's in. We've got
Love that one.
Melvin's in the chat. Evening, Melvin. How are we doing? Cheese soupy cane. Once the air gets to it, collapses. I love that stuff. I mean souffle. I'm thinking there. Cheese souffle. Very good. Are you good, Melvin? It's been a little while, mate. And we've got Terry. Terry, how are you doing, mate? I was wondering where you were. Good to see you here. Steve ain't got on the wine tonight, though, Terry. He has not got on the wine. He's on the cider, though, so don't worry. He's all right. He's okay.
Terry, what you think? What boilers you fixing tonight, Terry? What were you on? What were you on boiler-wise? Talk to me. What's your view? Gas or hydrogen? Where are we going with the boilers?
And also, like, if you were going to recommend a certain brand of boiler, what would you be, Terry? And we could try and get some money on for you. So that was the Greg's, you know. So obviously we could have gone with that for quite a long while.
I imagine that got really dark really quickly.
It got very, very, very dark, very, very explicit at points. At one point, Greg's had to go for a removal spree, which I found very hilarious. But people were just reposting as soon as they were removing it. Was just, I think it was when I was traveling up to Scotland, and like it was just making me laugh. It made me pass the time. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
You've got to love the public. You've got to love the public.
Oh, they're brilliant. So I've got a couple more things tonight. As I said, I didn't want to go too overboard. I had a lot of stuff to do with previous games that we've kind of covered. But there was a couple more things that I kind of wanted to sort of, you know, show up this week. One, again, is something that I'm not happy about Arsenal. You've seen it. Again, last week. Original Essentials brand. You see this?
What? No.
Another clothing collection come out last week. Another one. Now, all I'm going to say is these are probably the best ones they've actually released this year. They probably are. They're quite nice. They're very kind of, you know, chic, modern, you know, minimalistic. Like you see there, Canon, Adidas, quite plain. There's a lovely tracksuit in there. But it's still now their fourth range this season. And we're 10 games into the season. Come on. Do
you think that they're going to do a clothing range for each game? Do you think that's where we're going to be at?
It's getting that way. I don't, you know, they're great and I understand why, but they're taking the piss, and they really are. I mean, but then the next thing you see is loads of people wearing them, so they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. It's very, very clever marketing. Talking about this picture, by the way, quickly, did you see the Ballon d'Or awards last night at all? I didn't have time to download this picture before, but they had like Saka was there with Maidemar and Beth Mead.
Yeah.
And did you see the picture that was taken of Maidemar and Beth Mead on the red carpet?
No.
So you've got the two of them. They obviously get on very, very well. But the photographer had captioned it, Vivian Maidemar at the Ballon d'Or with her guest. Poor Beth Mead just got and her guest.
And her guest, wow. Okay.
I felt so sorry for her. Like, you know, and her guest. I mean, Beth Mead got second, didn't she? And Maidemar was like 11th. So, like, I don't quite know where that was coming from. But I thought, come on, if you're going to go to these awards, at least like do a bit of homework and know who's going to be there. Be nice about it. But I don't know.
I saw Bukayo had like these sort of really shiny lapels with what looked like little beads or something on there. For someone that earns that money, go get yourself a decent dinner suit. Never go wrong with a decent dinner suit, mate. You know,
I've got one. It comes out every kind of year or two, but it's lasting the test. You know, you can't. James, again, I agree with you, James. It is a great range. It's the best range they've done this season, but it's still their fourth. So, fantastic, though. It's a really good range. It is annoying, but again, I completely agree with you. It is probably the best clothing they've had probably over the last 2 seasons. But it's still the fourth range they've had this year, and it's just an absolute. Every time I get an email from Arsenal, it's like new clothes, new this, you know. And
when they officially announced the black tops before everybody, everybody had their fake ones beforehand. But before that, apparently on the first day, they netted in 1.5 million just in those black tops.
It's mental, isn't it? It's the first time it outsold the home kit, isn't it? Black one.
Yeah, and understandably,
just to clarify, Terry has officially said gas is the way forward rather than hydrogen.
Oh, mate. Okay, right. Yeah, the prophet has spoken, everybody. Just putting it out there to the Twitterati. Terry says, stick with gas. Make sure you've got a hydrogen-capable boiler, though. You heard it.
If anyone is interested, we can get Terry on board for a consumer advice slot anytime.
Yeah, the flame section. Like we're gonna have a little
I love that. The flame, Terry. You must be up for that.
Terry the flame.
The flame section with Terry White, or introduced by Terry White. Yeah, we can do something with this. There must be a play on words.
The
I'm loving it
combustible
already.
conversation with Terry White. That's
The ideas, they're just flowing. Also, just to let you know, in other news, Stephen has just beat Tottenham under 21s. Which is always good news.
Also, Wolves are 1-0 up against Palace as well. Traore scored.
Ooh. And what's Brighton? Brighton are playing tonight as well, aren't they?
Yes.
How's that going on?
I don't know. It's 0-0 from what I can tell, looking at it right here.
So a couple of things I want to talk about before we finish up. We're going to be nice and slick within the hour. Hopefully tonight we're right on time. Do you know what's happening here, Steve? Have you seen this one? Do you know what's going on here?
so is this? There's a whole load of rude connotations I can put to that, but I won't.
You could, but like,
but please, I have no. Oh no, is this the? This is the one where they trying to fiddle. Were they trying to fiddle it and the nets were too low or something?
This was the whole Burnley game on Sunday evening, afternoon evening. So this is not the one with the Arsenal women, no. So this is Hull versus Birmingham, Sunday early evening. That they, for some reason, someone cottoned on that they thought the goals were too big, and they were in fact 2 inches too big, which is about that big, right? 2 inches. About that big.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah.
About that big, yeah, 2 inches. About that big, 2 inches.
Yeah.
So they had to get the saws out. They had to literally go and get the saws out.
Isn't that where not Austin Tracy, wherever his
Austin
name?
Trusty, yeah.
Austin Trusty.
Yeah. He's still getting rave reviews out there, Austin Trusty.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good all-rounder, apparently. But this makes me laugh, the fact that, do they not use the same goals for every game? Like,
yeah.
Seriously, like, is that not the fact that we're Hull trying to put a fast one? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like,
too short.
Did they find? I don't know. I didn't watch the game, and I read the story after, and it was all over. But is it when the keeper was warming up, they just couldn't reach? He was like, "Hold on, what's going on here? Have I shrunk a little bit? What's happening here?"
Yeah, he's put him in a booster seat as he goes through.
Yeah, but it's like it's not even like it's.
But it's like the same thing on the Leeds game with the idiot that forgot to charge the batteries for the refs thing. There's certain things you do. There's certain rules and regulations, like Formula One. There's rules and regulations that you kind of have to. Some of them stupid, but you have to fit to. Like, and the goal size is kind of a basic thing. You know, it's a basic thing.
This is the thing that makes me laugh. Like, I'm involved with grassroots football with my children, and depending on the level, you have a certain size goal. So when we have matches, sometimes if it's a lower age group than we've got 2 sets of goals for one pitch. So one set of goal goes in, and they've got holes for each, etc. Surely this is like a professional adults football league. There's one goal. You know, it's not like Carabao Cup, we have one goal, but the Championship they can go 2 inches bigger. I mean, what are they thinking of?
I've no idea.
Something's not right there. Something isn't right there, and someone's trying to pull a fast one. Hull lost the game 2-0, so I say serve them right. Really, it was their goals, and they lost 2-0. So, who's last laugh on there. By the way, Terry is liking it. I think he loves that. So Terry, we've been trying to get you on for a little while now. So if we give you your own consumer section, you know, we'll come up with a good name, even though one's come up, like, just give us a thumbs up, say if you're up for that. Obviously, we'll do it for a night when you're not working. I know you work a lot. Or if you want to do it from someone's kitchen, even better.
Yeah. Fresh rice versus tanks versus whatever. I'm all there, mate. I'm all there.
Yeah, black and gold was the highest selling kit launched in history. Is it Arsenal history though, or all history? Because I wouldn't be surprised if it is all history, because the kit just like flew completely.
No, I think it was. I think the one that's got it is Ronaldo when he went to Italy. They basically. Juve. When he went to Juve, apparently they paid his fee off just in shirt sales.
That's mental. Absolutely mental.
Yeah.
But that's the business of football shirts nowadays. It's absolutely crazy. So there's one other little story I want to share tonight. And it was a nice little bit of shithousery, as people like to put it these days.
Love those.
I don't know if you saw it. It was a game of the weekend, which was pretty uneventful, but it was Wolves versus Forest game. Did you see this at all?
No, I didn't. Mate.
So it was just, I love this kind of stuff. So before the game, Forest put out this Nottingham Forest playtime picture of a Nottingham Forest with some little wolves, which I
Right.
thought was quite cute, very nice. So they put this out. They put this out before the game. I mean, one, Forest are not really in the form of their life to be putting stuff out there like this.
They're not tearing up.
Let's be honest.
Ivan Toney with kick. It was just a kick about with the boys or whatever it was.
Exactly. So obviously the game went on, and it was 1-0 Wolves. Forest missed a penalty, etc. So fair play for me for Wolves, who had obviously seen this before the game.
Yeah.
Wolves at the final whistle replied, "Time's over." I love this. I love this more than I should do, but I love that.
And that's exactly what we should be doing from a social media perspective. I think the wokery that we're having, this is exactly the sort of shithousery that we need back in the game. I
love it, and I think that even Forest couldn't have been upset with that. It must have just been like fair play. Yeah,
it was like it was like the what's it when when Spurs announced that they had sponsorship from Dulux. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that didn't last long, did it?
Well, they had sponsorship from Dulux, and whoever it was that was running their social media actually turned around and said, "But as with all things, if you're going to paint things like cupboards and cabinets, make sure that you dust it first, because obviously you won't get the right paint adhesion to it." Apparently, the guy was a mad Arsenal fan that was doing their media, was sort of taking piss. They fired him. Apparently, they fired him. But literally, within the tweets, all the Arsenal fans come out. One bloke just turned around and said, "I run a media company. I'm going to give you a job if you lose your job.
Yeah.
It's sort of give you a call." So I thought that was quite funny. Make sure you dust all your cabinets before you paint using Dulux paint.
I just think stuff like this is great. Like we've seen a few examples this year of like people like Specsavers having a laugh about Spurs, like Greg's thing tonight. But to see the football team do it, I love it. I just think that's absolutely brilliant. And like, I think it was all in a great banter. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching out for more stuff like that. So yeah, it made me die. I love it. So so that's all I've got. Anything else that you want to chat about tonight, Steve?
Couple of things we've got. So Thursday, big night. Obviously,
we'll have a top up.
Yeah, you go, my friend. You go. So Thursday's going to be a big one. I'm going to be there. So if anyone's around, come see us. Say hello. What are you thinking? Bit of rotation. We've got to rotate. I think we've got to rotate in and out. We can't take this lot. We can't take PSV.
No, they're a decent team, but for me, Van Nistelrooy coming back, like he's not exactly our favourite person. I don't know a better way of saying that. I would like nothing more than if we stuff his team, just be purely for him. I do think we will get a bit of rotation. I think it'll be a very similar team to what we saw against Bodo last week.
Yeah,
I think there'll be a couple of changes, but not wholesale. I think you'll probably see Sambi come in. You might see a Rob Holding come in, maybe for the Gabriel. I think Matt Turner will come in. I thought Matt Turner's been very good, actually. We haven't really spoke about him, but I think that in pre-season he wasn't looking the greatest. But I think from what I've seen of him in the Europa League, I think I'm very happy with him. I think he looks very composed, and I'd like to see more of him. So definitely he'll come in. Probably Eddie will definitely come in, I think, with Gabriel on the bench, and I think Gabriel will only be kind of used if he's needed.
Yeah.
But that will be about it, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Reece get another run out.
Yes.
Reece Nelson, because I think he needs some games. I've always quite liked him. I think he needs a run of games to give him a chance. But obviously, it's him or Marquinhos, isn't it? It's either him or Marquinhos. So
I think Marquinhos has got to play on the left, and so it's where we're but Reece can actually play down the middle. So I think he gives us. I think Vieira's a great.
Fabio will come in. Fabio's always going to come in. I'm loving him at the moment. He's bulking up a little bit. Have you seen him, by the way? He's bulking up.
No, yeah, I don't. You don't really look at that, but I just think he's a great player.
The yum-yums, didn't you?
Yeah, I just mentioned on the yum. No, I think he's a great player. I think we've got a really good buy there. I think he can. Odegaard looked tired. I think Odegaard looked really, really tired. So we need to give him 5 minutes peace and quiet. So I said 3-1 last night. I still think 3-1. I still think we're going to play him off the park.
I think 2-0. I think Matt Turner's going to get a clean sheet. I think we'll probably go out, get 2 goals, and then just sit on that lead and not worry too much. I'll be more than happy with that.
I don't
We
care
can
if
get
it's 1-0.
one more, get a win, get to 12 points. That will see us qualified.
Yeah.
12 points will see us qualify no matter what. Probably 10 points will see us qualify. But we want to win that group because there is some tough teams who could potentially be in the next round on that.
We're going to beat Barcelona. So when Barcelona,
I saw that last night, Steve. I saw that last night, and I was like, I love the optimism. But
what's the optimism? We're going to beat them. They're rubbish.
It's rubbish.
Shadow.
You do realise though, up until Sunday, they'd only conceded 1 league goal all season.
And we've got one of the highest clean sheet ratios in the whole of the Premier League. So it's 2 teams. They got battered by Madrid. Yeah, they got absolutely battered by Madrid. That's it. So no, mate, we're going to beat them. End of story. Job done.
Listen, we're not playing them yet. We're not there yet. But let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
We're going to play them. I'm telling you, we're going to play them. I can feel it in my bones. I'm running a separate podcast to teach everybody how to swear in Spanish for all of the Emirates fans. You're going to have a Spanish swearing lesson, so that when we're there, we can actually swear at them properly. We're going to beat them.
See.
Right. Another one. The last one. So I'm going to go 3-1. You're going 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I think it's a win for us, and we're going to have to give Van Nistelrooy a world of pain, just for what he represents and his shithousery. Last one is we've got Southampton.
Mm.
I still feel confident, but it's not an easy game. It's the bogey game.
No.
What would you do? Would you rotate or would you keep to our strongest squad?
I'd stay strong. I'd stay strong for as long as we can. I'd say only because the games are going to narrow down now before the World Cup. I would put out as strong a team as we can, only if they're fit though. Because we know, I would love to have gone to the Southampton game, obviously, but I'm not around. I remember going to Southampton. I think it was New Year's Day a few years ago when they'd done us, and I've always hated them since. Before that game, I never had a problem with Southampton, but when I went down there on New Year's Day, it was horrible.
My neighbour's a mad Southampton fan. I would have gone if I wasn't on holiday. So we got to do it because he always gets on Facebook and has a go.
I don't mind them as a team. I think that they've got some decent players. I don't mind Ralph Hasenhuttl. I think him. I think he's got something. He's got something about him though. He's got a bit of a personality, and I always like managers with personality. But we should be beating them no matter what. Even if we're having an off day, we should be beating them. But you just never ever know. And they're always up for it. They're always up for it against us. So, but again, I'm going to go for another 2-0.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it'll be close, but I'll take 2-1 for me. So I can't remember what I said last night, but we're in there. Mate, absolutely brilliant. I think we've got a couple of wins. I think we've got good momentum, and that's about it really. Just a quick one. I want to say hello to the Pirates. They all know who they are. To my boys, they'll be listening tonight, and I've been seeing your abusive messages on WhatsApp. Thank you very much for that, guys. So I wanted to say hello to them. But look, I feel we need to play a strong team. There are a couple of legs that I'm worried about. That Odegaard being one that is looking a little bit live at this moment in time. So maybe Vieira in for them.
But I think that's the good thing now. We have got Vieira, who I'm more than comfortable putting him in now with Odegaard. From what I've seen of him, he looks a good little player. It's going to be interesting going forward if he does impose himself, where him and Odegaard can fit in together. That'll be quite interesting going forward.
Yeah, let's get past Thursday, mate, and we'll go from there. But and that was it. That was it. Again, thank you for everybody. That's for those of you that are abusing me on WhatsApp. I ain't thanking you at all. But for those of you that are watching and are going to be watching the stream when it comes up, I really appreciate it. You heard it here. Yeah, and you heard it here. By the way, Jamie O'Hara, you look really fat in a 3-buttoned.
Talking about TalkSport a minute. Jermaine Pennant's come out. Have we seen him on TalkSport lately?
No. They let him out of prison now.
Sorry? Well, obviously, he has come out today. I heard the clip and then I looked at the show. He thinks Arsenal will crumble after the World Cup. Crumble.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm calling him out as well now.
Yeah.
O'Hara, Kunde, Pennant. All come on here.
Jamie O'Hara, you coward. I'm still waiting for you. I've messaged you. You definitely do not suit tweed. Your 3-button fatness in tweed, mate, that's not you. Go speak to your tailor. Come on the show anytime you want. I'm more than happy to go 1-to-1 with you on it because, you know, I'm fed up. I'm fed up of listening to the guys out on TalkSport, you know. And so what if we crumble? So what? It doesn't matter. We've done really, really well. We're going to get top 4. We're going to beat Barcelona. We're going to beat them, right? We're going to be, you know, we're going to be in a better place than we were last season. And you know what? We've got a fantastic fan base. It's brilliant to go to the Emirates. I don't really care what
it is right now. It really is right now.
I don't care what the pundits say, right? All I know is our guys are playing really, really well at the moment. We've got a great team, some great players, with some great opportunities coming up. So it's in our hands. Those guys are busted flushes now. They're not there anymore. So
very true. Very true.
If you think different, come on to the show. Let's have a chat.
And there you go. We were 1 hour and 6 minutes, and Steve was asked the first time come on the show. That is a new record for longevity.
There we go. Straight at you.
So, on that note, I want to say thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to Steve as always. And come on, the Arsenal.
North London!
Take it easy, everyone.